Hello everybody. Today marks 3 years since I've started cubing, and for today I'm going to be making a video on my entire cube collection. So this is going to be the order I'm going to put it in. So I'm going to put speed cubes first, then I'm going to put cuboids, and then shape mods of speed cubes, and then the last one is going to be any random puzzles that I have. So that's the order I'm going to be doing it in, just to let you guys know. And you can skip around if you want, or you can just watch the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Alright, the first cubes I'm going to be going over are 2x2, so I have 6 of them here, okay? So the first one I have is a Land 2x2. This is probably the worst one I have. It was my very first speed 2x2. It was nice for the time, but time has changed. Its corner cutting is not that great, and it's pretty stiff now. Next one I have is a V-Cube 2. This one here was a bit better. It was a bit faster and the corner cutting was better, but it's still not as good as some of the other corner cutting we've seen on 2x2s. Next I have 2 Diane 2x2s, one in stickerless and one in black. The one in black is a little bit better than the one in stickerless. Stickerless one is not as fast, and in this one I actually have a stickerless coin here, and as you can see I actually popped it. So I changed the core because the stickerless one just seemed to turn better. But yeah, that's what I have. Next I have the Moyu Lingpo 2x2. And this one here, it's not my main because it's not as controllable as the Diane. So I like the Diane better than this just because it's a bit more controllable, but other than that, this is pretty good. Last one I have is the Fangshi Shiswang 55mm 2x2. This one here I think is a little bit big, and corner cutting is not as good. I did once have the 50mm version, but I sold that, and it wasn't as good as the other ones. Alright, the next section I have here is 3x3, and as you can see, I have a lot. I have 18 3x3s right here, so I'm going to be going through these right now. So I'm just going to go through them one by one in roughly the order I got them in. The first one I have here is a Diane Zanchi. This was one of my first speed cubes I ever had, and as you can see there's a bunch of letters on it. I'm trying to learn how to solve blindfold, so I'm using this. This one here, it's not as good as it used to be. It's kind of stiff now, and it's very tight. I have another Diane Zanchi right here in white, and this one is a little bit better. It's a bit faster. It's about the same tension though. This was another one that I really liked for a very long time. I also got the Diane Panchi. And this one here is not very good. I had to loosen it a lot, and as you can see, it is extremely loose, and some of the corners have even broken. It's not that good, and yeah, I don't really use this anymore, though. I also have 2 Zanchis right here. This is a mini one, and I got a 50mm one. This one here is just a mini one that I have. It's kind of fun to solve, but I don't use it that much. I got this other one. It's a 50mm Zanchi, and this is the one I use mostly for one-handed. I also got this mini Alpha 5. This cube I got for a specific reason, but as you can see the pieces are not proportional to each other, and I was going to use it for something but I couldn't, so now I kind of have this, and they even threw in a second one with it, but I don't have that anymore. Next one I have is a Moyu Huanying in red. I did have a black one a long time ago that used to be my main, but I don't have it anymore. So this one here, it's not as good as the other one was, but it's a pretty good cube, but I don't use it that much. Next cube I have is a stickerless Zanchi regular size. This one is pretty good. It's a bit better than the other Zanchis that I have, but I don't solve this really. It's just something for fun. Next cube that I have here is a Moyu Weilong. This is the second version, not the first. And this one used to be my main, but it's a little bit too fast for me. You know, I can't control the speed very well, so I don't really use this. Maybe if I get fast enough, I might switch this to my main. I have 2 Fangshis right here, the illusion ones. This is one that I used as my main as well. It was very good, and I liked it a lot. This one here is not as broken in, and it's a bit, it feels a bit tighter. This one here is like this, but this one, it's kind of the same, but this one is not as fast as the other one. The next one I have here is a YJ Qilong. This cube here, it's not as good. I used to think it was good, but it's not really that good. It's like, it seems to turn fast, but its corner cutting is a bit lacking, as you can see. So, I don't use this at all. I have 5 Aolongs here, as you can see. 2 of them here are mini ones. This is, the mini Aolong in black. This one I also used as my main a while ago. And this one here, this one is not as good as the other one. It's just not as fast as this one here. And then, I have these full-size Aolongs. I have this stickerless one. It's not as good. And, then I have this black one. I don't use this as much. Like, it's fast, but it's very loose right now, as you can see. And then here's my actual main that I use right now. This is a regular Aolong right here. It's very good, and this is the one I use the most. The last one that I have here is a YJ Guanlong. I actually got this just a few days ago. And this one here, it's not going to be my main. The corner cutting is not as good. When I loosen it to make the corner cutting good, it becomes too fast for me. But for the price, it's an awesome cube. But it's just not going to be my main because I already have an Aolong. Alright, as for 4x4, I have 5 of them here. So, the worst one I have is the ShengShou version 5. This one is way too loose. Like, it explodes all the time. And it locks up like crazy. And I really didn't have a really good 4x4 for a very long time until the Moyu Weisu came out. This one here was way better. And I used this for a very long time until I got the Moyu Aosu 4x4. This one here was so much better. And this one here is very good. I've tried other people's 4x4s by Moyu, but they're not as good. You know, they seem stiffer, and a lot of people have even offered me a trade for this particular 4x4 because they say it's so good. And I also have a stickerless one. This one is not as fast, and it's not as good, you know, but it's pretty good. And then I also have the mini Moyu Aosu 4x4. This one is not as good. It's a lot slower and stiffer, and it's about the same tension. The corner cutting is pretty good, but it's just not as fast as I would like it to be. Alright, the next group I have is 5x5, and I have 5 of them here. First one I have is this Dainxing 5x5. It's, not as good. It's very stiff, because I have to put it really tight, you know? Like, it turns well, but it doesn't cut corners very well at all. It's just not very good. Next one I have is a ShengShou 5x5, and this one is actually not that bad. I put springs from a Moyu 6x6 in here, because I heard that you could make a Moyu 6x6 better by putting ShengShou springs in it. So I put the springs from this into the Moyu, and then the springs from the Moyu into this. And it made it really fast, you know, like, it can corner cut very far, and it is extremely tight, as you can see. But it's not as good as my Moyu Aochuang 5x5. This one here is my main. And some people have even offered me a trade for this one because it's very good. It's very fast and very controllable. The next one I have is the Moyu Huachuang. I don't prefer this one here. I prefer the Aochuang over this because this one here, it's not as good. Like, it's fast, but it just locks up a little bit on the outer layers for me. And it's just better for me to use the Moyu Aochuang because it's a little easier to control. And the last one is the Kuiyi 5x5 in stickerless. This one here is actually pretty good. It feels almost like a really broken in V-Cube 5. I did have a really good broken in V-Cube 5, but I don't have that anymore. But yeah, this one here is very good, but reverse corner cutting is kind of lacking. So that's all I have for 5x5. Alright, the next group that I have here is going to be 6x6 and 7x7. So we'll start with 6x6. So my main is the Moyu Aoshi 6x6 right now. It's a little bit loose right now because it is a little bit slow. And this one, like I mentioned in the 5x5 part, is I put the springs from the 5x5 into this right here. And then I have the ShengShou 6x6. This one I actually changed the springs in because I heard it can make it faster if you put Diane springs in this one. I do have a black ShengShou 6x6, but it's in pieces right now because I'm going to be trying to clean out all the lube from it and try to put new springs in and see if I can make it really good, because I've seen really good ShengShou 6x6s before. Now on to 7x7. My main is the Moyu Aofu 7x7. This one is very good. I have tried both types of ShengShous, but they just didn't really suit me for some reason. They just weren't as fast as I would want them to be. But this one delivers. It has very smooth turning and corner cutting is very good. And the only other 7x7 that I use as my backup main is the V-Cube 7. And this V-Cube is actually very good. And as you can see, this cap pops out. This one pops out a lot, actually. So this one, I've broken it in a lot, and it's like very loose now. Almost too loose, actually. And a lot of people have like been asking me how to get it so good. And the answer is you just solve it 1,000 times. But if you don't want to go through all that, just get a Moyu 7x7. Alright, the next group that I have here is going to be Pyraminx and Skewb. So, I have 4 Pyraminxes. This one is by far the worst. It is a QJ Pyraminx, and the turning is not that good, and corner cutting is really bad. And even a piece is broken right now. I'm not sure which one, but it pops out so easily now. And this thing is just not very good. A little bit better one is the ShengShou. This one has a bit more firm clicking and is a bit faster. But it's not as good as the Moyu Pyraminx. I have 2 of them right here. One in white, one in black. And these ones are brand new, actually. And this one here has very firm clicking on the inner layers and light clicking on the outer layers. But this one here has light clicking on the middle layers and harder clicking on the outer layers, which is kind of weird. And then for Skewb, the only one that I have is the Moyu Skewb. This is the one I use the most. I did have a ShengShou and a Lan, and this is the one I decided to keep. I may get a ShengShou pretty soon, but I just need to get some springs for it, otherwise there would be no point in getting it. The next group I have is Megaminx, so I only have 3. I have a ShengShou Megaminx right here. This one is pretty good, but a reverse corner cutting is kind of lacking. I also have a Dian Megaminx without ridges right here. This is probably the one I use the most right now. So I'm pretty good, but tensions are a little uneven. And then the last one is a Dian Megaminx with ridges and stickerless, which I think is the best one out of all of them. The last group I have here is going to be Square One and Clock. So the one I use the most is the MFA Square One, but I do not do Square One that much. I have a Talon's Puzzle one, low uncontrollable, and then I have a Cube Twist, and there's a cat missing right now. I don't know what happened to it. This one here is a little more controllable, but again, I hardly ever do Square One. And then for Clock, this one I do even less. I do not do Clock at all. It's been like months since I've last solved the Clock. And I figured it out myself, you know, but I just don't do it that much. But if I want to ever get into Clock or start competing in Clock, now I can.